WNST, Taos, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive, still broadcasting in full mono sound at AM 1570 all around the Beltway. And, of course, streaming wherever you are as we enter basketball season around here, college basketball season. Terps, so far, so good. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting week with Louisville, as well as Big Ten matchups coming down the line. And I figured we go right to the top. The tallest guy I know that's in my Rolodex that wore a Terps jersey at some point. We welcome the Wizard back on. Walt Williams, of course, still calling the radio games over at the Fan and everywhere out on the Terps radio network for the home games, because who needs a trip to Iowa or Minnesota in the middle of January? Wiz, how the heck you doing, man? First things first, I wore my red shirt for you because it's the one shirt I have that has Coons Baltimore Ford Security below it. And Dennis will appreciate that, but it's red and white. I was going to sing the Terps fight song to you. And then you come on with like a biased jersey behind me and Maryland. You're all ready for season, huh?
Yeah, this my little podcast room, I guess, So yeah, man, this is where I do my interviews at back here in this room.
Well, let me start with this. Bias behind you. Give me your, I mean, you could put any jersey behind you. You could have your own. You even got George Gervin behind you, looks like to me. Where's Dr. J, bro? I mean, come on. But Len Bias in that jersey, and you got the Lenny book behind you. I know it's important to you.
Oh, absolutely. He was instrumental in my choice to come to the University of Maryland. He was one of the biggest reasons outside of being close to my parents and my family. So he was huge in the impact on my career on and off the court. One of my teammates, Tony Massenberg, we often talk about him, and we thought that it would be a great idea to let the world know the impact that he had on this community and not just the circumstances surrounding his death. So, we knew that he made a great impact on the university. Like I said earlier, on my life, on and off the court, and we just wanted the world to know about him.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's never a June 19th that comes and goes that I don't think about him, because that was my first year working at the paper. It happened at 7, 8 in the morning that, it hit the newspaper, and I was 17 years old, and I was on the front lines to like stopping an edition for the first time in my life, because it was the biggest story that I can remember as a kid locally, where I was in the newsroom as a 17-year-old kid at the Baltimore Sun when it happened. So, I mean, all these years later, I just see the jersey, and I mean, I'll be at Nacho Mama's watching soccer here this week in Towson. They've got they got the growth poster. I mean, so if you are looking to keep the spirit of all that alive, I mean, we're 35 years later, 40 years later, we're still talking about Len Bias. It's amazing, right?
Absolutely. The thing about it is he was compared to the great Michael Jordan. And if you look at Michael Jordan's career and the impact that he had on the NBA, the players that came behind mimicking his style of play, and you can see the impact in the NBA today. I absolutely think that if Len Bias had an opportunity to play in the NBA, he would have had that same kind of impact. I think you'd have seen the maturation of the game, move faster with bigs, spread the floor and shoot the ball from anywhere. So his game was like that, and so it is just a shame that he didn't have an opportunity to make the impact on the game that many people think that he would have.
I was with a bunch of old sports writer buddies of mine about a month and a half ago. I mean, all the old Baltimore Sun people were together, and I slipped into my lefty, and I started talking about Leonard Bias, because he always called him Leonard Bias. So I always love doing that. Well, we got basketball season here, and you're still calling the games here, and so many changes, right? Like, I saw you at the Ripken event downtown, feels like 2 months ago. Jay Wright was there, Gary was there, telling some old war stories in Villanova and Maryland stories, and I was giving Jay Wright a hard time about heckling him when he used to coach Hofstra here at the Towson Center back in the day when Terry Truax was getting after him. But I would say this: I met Kevin Willard, new, imported, all of this, different than Turgeon, but you've been there for all of it. Back to when you were dribbling back, and I know I made you smile when I did a little lefty there, going back to Bob Wade. whenever there's a coaching transition, and we haven't had a lot of them. I mean, had a whole lot more with the baseball team, not many with the football team, but especially at the collegiate level, when you're installing a program and you're coming in, you're getting other people's kids, all of that. But boy, this NIL and transfer portal, and it feels doom and gloom when I start talking to coaches about how the unintended consequences, I would say, of what's going to change about college basketball, that even Kevin Willard has been around it 30 years, doesn't even understand what's over the hill right now for any of these programs.
Well, you know what? When you talk about the NIL, it's giving these college students an opportunity to make money on their likeness. Um, Even before this environment was created, you know, you had these kids was getting money in some respect, in some fashion. So now you can be above board and do this in a legitimate way. And you know, I think that it's an opportunity for on different levels, not just earning money and playing your college sport or what have you, but it's an opportunity to learn how to handle finances and things like that, that you will need these skills that you would need later on in life. So it's an opportunity to have real life experience with not only making money but learning how to deal with money and saving and spending and all of those things. So I think it's just part of a learning curve that these kids will go through.
But what's it going to mean when I can get more money over there? And what does it mean for the coaches? I mean, I've talked to Pat Scarry about this. I haven't talked to Juan Dixon, although last week we broadcast the Coppin games here at AM 1570. We're real proud of that, having the Eagles on. So we had that game on the other day. But I don't know how it's going to be different at Coppin and Towson, but I know it's going to be different than it is at Maryland and Penn State and Ohio State, on the football side, on the basketball side, for where the money is. And even for the girls that, that can make money in whatever their sport is, for volleyball stars, for track stars, for all of that, it's going to change the quality programs in every sport.
Well, I think we're in an environment now that these kids are, because they're able to transfer and you don't have to sit out a year and things like that. I think that just the environment has changed in general, on many different levels. I think that what happens from this NIL and these kids getting money is that you probably have them tend to stay in college a little bit longer than they probably would have. A lot of kids, especially the really good ones who can play at the next level, they leave early in this environment because they want the opportunity to make that money. So, when they have that opportunity in college, I think you have the opportunity to keep them there longer, and the college game tends to grow more and get back to, back in my day when we played in college. It was guys who were junior and seniors in college that were pro guys, but they were just still playing in college. And so it made for a better college environment. And then also when you go to the next level, you're more prepared.
Well, it made it better for the fans, right? That I could get the Toyota ACC guide and year to year see that you were coming in, and Adrian Branch or Herman, those guys, Massenberg, the guys you were with year after year, you remember their names 40 years later because they didn't play 10 weeks like Steve Francis did here, right? They wound up staying and playing and being a part of it. And in many cases, a kid from the DC Beltway would move up to Baltimore and be a part of things and still be here 40 years later, being a part of the program, in some way, as opposed to, I'm going to transfer out to Texas Tech because you didn't give me enough playing time, or I can get 10 grand more from a pizza sponsorship in Lubbock, or whatever that deal will be for any of these kids. What does this mean for Kevin Willard over the next 3, 4, 5 years? And how many of the kids that are dribbling right now are we going to see stick around College Park and still be here 2, 3 years from now to play what you would consider a traditional college career?
Well, I don't think the NIL affects that dynamic. I think that we were already in the environment of like I said earlier, these kids can transfer and play right away. They don't have to sit out. So regardless of the money aspect, if you're not getting playing time and you feel you're in the wrong situation, you're leaving. And so these kids are more amped to do that in this environment already. So that part of the equation is already incorporated in this situation. So once again, I think that when you have the NIL, when you bring that scenario in there, you tend to have more of an opportunity to keep these kids not only at your university but in college period for a longer time frame.
Well, so much is personality driven, right? Like you got along with Gary. Not everybody did or everybody could. And he probably was more on the Bobby Knight side of being a player's coach than in an old school kind of way. I would think discipline now and I'll leave and 10 other teams wanted me and how bad do you want me and what are you willing to give me? Um, it is a much more grown up negotiation moving forward, I think, right?
Oh, absolutely. When you talk about me and Coach Williams, it was more so that I respected what he brought to the table. I wanted to learn from him. I wanted to accept the challenge of getting better and performing in front of my family and friends and all of these things. So the environment was much different. To leave the school, I mean, even under the circumstances that I was under, it meant more to me to hang in there and lift the university up than to leave and go somewhere else and start all over again.
Well, I remember no lights, no cameras. You were the plenty of action, as I remembered. Walt Williams is here, the wizard, joining us on I would say, the eve of college basketball season, even though we're into it. Tougher games this week. By the time people listen to this, they will have had a result one way or another in regard to Louisville. But tell me about this year's team and what is there for you to be excited about, thinking that you're going to go down there and let's say February, early March. What will this team look like when it's all over with?
Well, I'll tell you what, they are a team that play really hard, especially on the defensive end. They have a lot of leeway at the guard position, the wings. They're pretty big. They're versatile. They can guard multiple positions. Where they're a little weak is in the interior. They don't have much there other than Julian Reese. He's their big, but after that, you tend to be pretty small there. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially when they get into the Big Ten season, how they're able to deal with the lack of interior presence. They're going to have to team rebound, keep guys in front, not let them get in the paint as much. And they've been doing a great job, like I said, defensively, pressuring, full court pressure, man-to-man running jumps. And they create a lot of turnovers and create easy opportunities, up-tempo type of pace on the offensive end. In order for this team to see more success, though, when you get into the Big Ten season, they're going to have to shoot the ball better from the outside. Right now, they have not caught their stride shooting it from the 3-point line, but they have a lot of guys who can shoot the ball. So it's just a matter of getting your feet underneath you, your legs underneath you, with the effort that they're putting in on the defensive end, and kind of tone yourself down, get yourself calm when you go down the other end and make shots from the outside.
Different style than what Turgeon really wanted to do, I think, and maybe even recruited to do in different points. And I'm not sure what the Big Ten is on a year-to-year basis. I think back in the day, we knew what the ACC was about. We knew the coaches, knew the styles. The Big Ten, I still think, is new to a lot of Terps fans to some degree. But also, there's so many teams, and this thing's about to get even bigger in a different way. And college basketball's changed so much. When you say that you don't have the bigs, you can win like this, right? I mean, you can win with this style of basketball for sure.
Oh, absolutely. In an environment where everybody's shooting threes, you absolutely can. The floor is more spaced. They have, like I said, their guard play is really good, so they can beat guys off the dribble. They're making the extra passes, and so it's just a matter of being able to hit that open jump shot a little bit more consistently. They're pushing the pace, keeping it up tempo. A lot of that has to do with the defensive prowess, but that's the remedy for this team right now. The makeup of this team is the wing guys. They're versatile, and they can attack you on the block, in the paint area, as well as the outside. So they have a lot of versatility there, and so that's where their real advantage will be.
Well, I think the myth about the Big Ten would be bunch of big guys in the middle clogging it up. Wisconsin, those kinds of. I think that the conference has changed because the sports changed and because of how many teams have entered this thing and different styles of basketball. Different coaches have brought different styles and the way that recruiting would work these days, right? It's not the way it used to be.
Well, it is not, but the Big Ten is still one of the most physical conferences in college. So you have to be able to handle that physicality, and that's going to be a part of it. This year, though, when you look at preseason wise, there wasn't many Big Ten teams in that top 25 like it normally is. So it's going to be interesting to see through the Big Ten season what teams rise to the cream of the crop, because traditionally we see the top 25 teams and we could tell, okay, these top 5-6 teams are going to be the top of the Big Ten, but it's not that way right now. So it's going to be some teams battling it out for that third, fourth, fifth spot, and it's going to be interesting to see who that is.
Well, certainly with the crash of everything last year and Turgeon walking, all that went on, Manning coaching the team and all that. Do you feel fresh start energy from all of this? I mean, I did. I did when Kevin Willard was here for the Ripken Day, just coming up, shaking his hand and saying hello after seeing him on TV or whatever. Now that we're into it, I mean, he's got it programmed, installed, and I would think for anyone, especially the people that didn't like Turgeon, and there was plenty of that going on the internet, that there is fresh blood here and a sense of, give the guy a chance. Let's see how this thing works out. Let's see what it is. As a Terps fan, there's part of me that just, I'm open-minded to saying, what is this? And I think we'll learn a little bit more this week. And certainly as the schedule starts to roll out and we start to see tougher teams, they're not going to stay undefeated forever.
No, no, but this University of Maryland is a traditional school, and so when fans come to see the game, they want to see like-minded people. They want to see the coaching staff that reminds them of themselves. They want to see players that are from this area. And so it's going to be key moving forward that this coaching staff can do that. With Coach Skin and Cox, they are from this area. So, the nuance of them being from here should help the recruiting efforts consistently from this area. So I think we have the best players in the country, best high school players in the country. So if you can consistently recruit here and blend that in with different pieces from any elsewhere, then I think that you have a remedy for consistent success. And so I think that when you look at a coaching staff, you want to look at guys who were that are into the tradition, and so you don't have any University of Maryland guys on the staff, but you have guys that can recruit from this area. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue to do that. They've gotten off to a great start, and so we'll see if that continues.
I saw Greg Manning still running around down there. I miss
Yeah.
Bino and some of my old friends as well. Get me singing, Maryland, we're all behind you. I got all that Maryland pride going on. Walt Williams is here, the Wizard. And last but not least in any way, you get your own NIL at this point in your life here. You like sponsors like me. You got a podcast. Tell me about Clutch Vodka. I know you're out representing them, and I know you find this hard to believe, but I've tipped some vodka in my day, Wiz. And so tell me what you're doing out there.
Hey, man, I wish that there was some NIL going on when I played, man. The high socks and headband, I would have been a hit out there.
I like that. You totally would have had some sponsors in the 80s, Wiz, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So yeah, my vodka brand is called Clutch Vodka. It's in stores now. We're in the Mid-Atlantic region, DC, Maryland, Delaware. And so we've been out there for a couple of months now. So it's an exciting time for us. A premium vodka, smooth tasting. The key is for me is affordable pricing. It's 100% corn, gluten-free, no sugar, no carbs. And we're having a contest this month that's ending December the 11th. A friend of mine, Kevin Sullivan, he did this portrait, this illustration of me, and it's so cool, man. So what we did was framed it, autographed it, and framed it, and so we're going to give it away in this contest that we're having. And so to enter the contest, all you have to do is, number one, follow us at Clutch Vodka on Instagram or Facebook. and
Hold on,
at
Wiz. I'm
Clutch
doing
Spirit.
all this. Here's a picture. I got the picture
Uh,
here. That's pretty good, man. I
yeah,
like that art.
yeah, man. That's cool, man. Like I said, my guy Kevin Sullivan, he did a cool illustration, man, and I was just like, man, I was amazed by that, and so I wanted to have an opportunity to give it away to any fans, man, that searched our website, our social
Hold on, I'm
media.
on your website right now. It's making me put my birthday in here. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah,
Making
yeah.
sure
That's
I'm 20. It feels good to get carded, brother. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
I
man.
don't I don't mind that at all. Ice in your veins. Life can sometimes be hectic and full of frenzy. Don't I know that? At Clutch
Yes.
Vodka, we invite you to celebrate life's achievements. I've had a few, no matter how big or small. The small ones are more fun to achieve. When you're able to slow things down and savor the moment, you have ice in your veins. You a Gervin guy? What's going on
Oh,
there?
absolutely, man. That was my guy, man.
You got his
I used
autograph
to
behind you on the wall in a Nike
absolutely.
poster.
He was a coach. Him and John Lucas had a brief stint coaching with the Spurs, and so I got an opportunity to get an autograph from him. One of my college teammates, Frank Horton, he gave me that picture there because he knew I was a big Iceman fan, and then I got an opportunity for him to sign it, and so it was a great experience for me. So yeah, Iceman's I'm a huge fan of his. So the high socks, the finger rolls. Yeah,
See, I was a Dr. J guy, right? I
yeah,
don't know. Maybe we're kind of the same age, you and me.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't. I mean, we come from the same era of everything with Wes Unseld and the Big E, and the 77 Bullets and like all of that stuff. I was always a Rick Barry guy. You know what
yeah.
I mean? But always, if I could have been anybody, it would have been Dr. J. And when I covered Dr. J's last game ever up in Philadelphia at the Spectrum against the Bucks. I was at the paper then, and he signed a Converse. I have where he's got his foot on the old ABA ball,
Oh yeah.
with the Sixers white on. Oh man, the fro rocking, the whole thing was going, man. The fish
But
say
hey,
Pittsburgh, man.
I'm a Dr. J fan too. I'll tell you what, I have a couple of different pictures with him. I've we've been at a couple of NBA functions together. I was at a good friend of mine is Marcus Camby, so I was at a statue unveiling of Marcus Camby and Dr. J. So I got an opportunity to take some really good pics with him. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about. So big fan of his. But uh, let me give you a little bit more of the details for the contest. So
Sure,
number one,
absolutely here. And
yeah,
everybody can go to Clutch Vodka. You can follow it out on Instagram as well as social media. It's Clutch, just like Walt was. Clutch, like that. Easy.
absolutely, man. So yeah, so number one, you just follow us at Clutch Vodka on Instagram and Facebook, or at Clutch Spirits on Twitter. Retweet it to a friend and hashtag the Wizard is Clutch. And we're gonna pick our winner on December 11th. And man, we're excited about the opportunity here, and always got to say drink responsibly. And hey, I'm a vodka guy. I drink vodka when I do drink from time
How'd
to
this all
time.
come together? How'd you get in the vodka business? What happened here?
So like I said, I do drink vodka when I do drink a little bit, and so one of my partners came to me with an opportunity to help him market the brand. I really liked it. It was a smooth tasting premium vodka. And the thing I wanted to do was make sure it was affordable. That quality of spirit, I wanted to make sure it was affordable. And so once we were able to accomplish that, hey, I was fully on board, wanted to learn more about what it all entails in making it. And hey, and so we were off for the races from there.
All right, man. Well, I see you got recipes coming up to the website here. I
Absolutely,
need I
yes.
need some holiday drinks for myself here. Well, we'll be listening to you on the Terps Radio Network over at the Fan, and give Johnny my best. I love Johnny Holiday, and this whole fresh start thing for the Terps, it's good stuff. And I think people are catching on. They're winning early here, catching on to the new coach, a bunch of the new players. And yeah, so we'll be listening, we'll be watching, we'll be drinking your Clutch Vodka, and I hope we get together sometime soon. I bump into you around town because you live
Yes,
here.
man.
You're one
Yes,
of the look.
absolutely, man.
I'm walking down York Road. There's Walt Williams. Look at
Hey, I'm
that.
out in
So
the streets, man. I'm out in the streets.
pushing that vodka. Hey, take care of yourself. I always appreciate getting together with you. We'll see each other soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks for having me, Ness.
Sure, it'll be a concert down at the new arena or something. We'll make our way down to the CFG Bank Arena. Walt Williams, he is the wizard calling the action. His vodka is at Clutch Vodka, and you can win that fantastic print of him dunking in the red Maryland jerseys. I wore my red today, and I even sang for Walt Williams. We got things going on all week long here. Ravens get ready to play Lamar's Words, Luke out in Owings Mills, and of course you can follow him at Baltimore Luke. All of that brought to you by our friends at Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore. Positive.